Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton, and I'm ROCKFILE, and this is another podcast movie review, episode number 11, Haunt. As I mentioned in one of my earlier podcasts, I watch a lot of YouTube videos these days, reviews on tech, reviews on movies, reviews on video games, things like that, getting the vibe because I do want to start doing some YouTube videos. I just don't really have a setup to do that yet, but I'm working towards it. So I figured, hey, longtime radio guy, why not start with podcasts? So Chris Stuckman a few weeks ago posted a review of this movie, Haunt, and he's a bit of a horror movie aficionado. It's one of his favorite genres, if not his very favorite. And he really liked the movie. So I ponied up a little bit of money and picked it up on Vudu. It's on streaming services. I don't think it's scheduled to get a Blu-ray or DVD release, but hopefully it does. The movie was written and directed by the guys who wrote and produced A Quiet Place. This couldn't be a little more the opposite of The Quiet Place. Scott Beck and Brian Woods. It was produced by Eli Roth. I really enjoyed this movie. I want to say it's a kickback to real horror movies that we used to watch, but I don't want it to seem like it's any kind of retro movie in any way, shape, or form. It's very much a modern horror movie. It debuted in August at the Popcorn Frights Film Festival down here in Fort Lauderdale, and I'm kicking myself because I was invited and didn't go. I thought, well, some of these are going to be those, short films and those low-budget produced films, And this thing turned out, this should have gotten a much wider theatrical release. It did get one in September, but it instantly hit streaming services like Vudu, where I watched it. It's currently sitting at about 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and if you like real horror movies that have a sense of dread, I think you would score it higher than a 70%. It's a very simple story, well done. There's a short beginning to establish the characters. This group of friends get together. There's some, background story that they hint to at the beginning. And then they go to visit a haunted house on Halloween. The rest of the movie is them trying to get out of the haunted house. It is very much not A Quiet Place. This would be more relatable to perhaps a Saw movie, but it has a bit more on its mind than a Saw movie. What really surprised me is they took this very basic concept of a group of friends trying to get out of a haunted house and then executed it brilliantly. It's got great atmosphere. There's a very palpable sense of dread. The characters don't make those usual, don't go in there kind of decisions and mistakes that you always find in horror movies. And the twists and turns that the movie took were actually worthy, mostly surprising, and made sense in the context of the mythology of the movie. If I have a complaint about the movie, and this isn't a real complaint because it doesn't detract from the movie in any way, the last 5 minutes or so feel a bit rushed. And I know horror movies try and get that, that one last punch in there, but they could have fleshed out the last 5 or 10 minutes just a little bit more to give us some more connecting tissue. But in no way does it detract from the movie. It's a good ending, and you actually want to rewind it and watch the last 5 or 10 minutes all over again just to see how it ends. I'm going to give Haunt a 4 out of 5. I think it's one of those movies that you want to watch at Halloween that could become a cult classic like a Trick or Treat or something like that. It is a throwback only in the fact that it's a real horror movie. It's not that funny. It's not trying to be a blockbuster. It's trying to be a horror movie to scare you and make you feel dread for these people and the situation they're in. And that's what I want in a horror movie. Some of the big budget blockbuster type horror movies, I really enjoyed the It movies for what they were. But I wasn't really scared by the It movies, This was a bit of, you watch this in the dark. It's a bit creepy. So check out Haunt. It's available on most streaming services. I hope it eventually gets a Blu-ray release. It's really worth your time if you want to watch a good Halloween-themed horror movie. Haunt. Check it out. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I'm Scott Hamilton, ROCKFILE. Check out my website, therockfile.com. It's got links to ROCKFILE Radio, ROCKFILE Retail, and please subscribe to the podcast. Subscribers are very important here in these early days of podcasting. I now have hundreds of downloads, so we got the ball rolling here, and I really appreciate your support. So I've got several more movie podcasts to update today, so get ready for them, and thanks for listening.